Reverend Gregg. I'm the rector, which is like a senior pastor if you come from a different faith tradition. I'm the rector of Grace Episcopal Church in St. George, Utah. I've been here for about 8 years.
I met Catherine when I walked through the doors of Grace. And I love that kind of double meaning to that. Walking Grace Episcopal Church, but also just into Grace and complete and utter acceptance.
Wherever I am, whatever place I happen to be living, I want to be noticing the things that need care and healing and wholeness, and see if there's a part for me to play.
I was raised Methodist and worked for the Methodist Church when I was in my early 20s. And then the Methodist Church came out with, about the same time I did, with, we'll accept anybody but gay people.
So you're either gay or you are part of a church, but you can't do both.
Still believed, but apparently it was mutually exclusive.
I kept hearing in the community about how hard it was to be gay here. And then, I think it was the second year I was here, we actually heard of two teenagers committing suicide. We met at our council meeting, our vestry meeting, and said, we got to do something about this. And we had some people, Susan Ertel being one of them. She and I and Nicole Lee got together for lunch and said, what can we do? So we started having weekly meetings here, and we had kids coming from, I think 6 different high schools, just from all over, Hurricane and other places. And they could come with their parents, and we'd have a social worker meeting with the parents in one room if they wanted that, and then Susan and Nicole would work with the kids in the other room. One 17-year-old girl came into my office afterwards and asked if she could talk to me, and I said, yes, of course, that's why I'm here. And she sat there for about, 40 minutes with just tears just pouring down her face, and I just sat next to her with my arms around her, and she just poured out her story of just saying, I've always believed God loved me, but I've never heard anybody else be able to say that.
I think it gives them the opportunity to feel whole again. And I think when you take out that spiritual piece or that religious piece that you've had your whole life, and I don't know where it goes, but there's a hole there.
It seems like the last place that you're ready to tackle is the church, because you can be okay in all these arenas, but then you walk into the church, and am I allowed to be okay in this arena? Being
gay is one part of the whole picture of who you are. And it's a beautiful picture, part of the picture of who you are. And God has created you exactly in God's image. So the image of God that you bear is something that the rest of us will miss out on if you aren't true to yourself.
Here's this woman making this difference in this community, and who was willing to just, in the name of God and her relationship with God, embrace us and embrace our commitment to each other. It was amazing. It was just, it was like just, coming home in so many ways.
I can walk through that door with my brokenness and my gayness and be okay, and still be part of a spiritual and religious community that I really didn't expect to ever be part of again.
It makes me ashamed, because here I am, I'm a professional religious person. And when I hear the word religious or religion being used to disempower people, we're talking about bad religion. We're talking about bad theology and bad religious practice. And anything that's really, really true and is really, really of God is always liberating, it's always healing, it's always salvation in its original form of the word, that means like a salve that you put on a sore. It soothes and heals and makes new again. So if you find that somebody tells you truth that locks you in a box or puts you away or diminishes your dignity as a human being, you're not dealing with truth. You can call it religious freedom, I call it religious bondage, and I call it cruelty.